Hi, everybody. Karl Kasgaard calling you from Alberta, and Scott Knox is at our Nerve Center, the rebuild shop in Arnprior, Ontario, with the wing sticking out of his ear. Bless you, Scott. Good to see you again, buddy. And so we wanted to share with you a great little adventure that we had. And Scott will, I've got some interesting questions for you, and I'm sure you've got some comments. But what happened was one of my spies, Peter Whitfield, he's all over the warbird scene, and he found out that the New England Air Museum down in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, had a Bristol Hercules engine. And so I immediately contacted the New England Air Museum and the curator there, and they wanted X amount of money for the Bristol Hercules. They had stored it in a parts warehouse they have for years. And so we haggled back and forth, and we came up with a reasonable price of around $6,000, not including shipping. And so I got that straightened out. And then I said to Scott, you know what, Scott, it's only 7 hours south of your position at Ottawa. Could we get a trailer? It's going to be, the engine's going to be 1 ton. And we need a trailer with double axles, at least strong, whatever. And Scott's got a good truck with a Hemi in it, and lots of horsepower. And so, Scott, we got that all teed up, and then you and I went down there. And was there any specific prep that you had to do to get ready for our trip down to Windsor Locks, Connecticut?
It wasn't too cumbersome. I mean, we knew that the motor was 1,900 pounds dry. That means no oil or anything. But then we added on some extra weight for the engine mounts and the cowlings that were left, and some of the accessories. And the motor was on a steel frame at the museum, so we added a few extra pounds onto our estimate. So we figured we were just over around 2,300 pounds. So we got a decent open trailer from a famous rental company, and drove down there, no troubles at all. There, I must admit, we had to make sure before we left that we had enough straps, enough equipment to protect the engine in transit. We didn't. There was a chance it was going to rain, so we wanted to make sure that we could plug as many of the holes as we could. The issue, one of the biggest things was, I do have another trailer, a covered trailer, but there was no way to get the motor in or out of the covered trailer unless we had big long forks on a forklift at both locations. So that wasn't logistically, that wasn't possible.
There was no casters on the bottom, and this is like over 1 ton of steel and engine.
Yeah, I would never have rolled into my my trailer. So in any event, we set off, and we were successful in grabbing the trailer. I must admit, there's some real characters down at the New England Museum. When we first arrived, these two Canucks, they looked at us, and they looked at the trailer, and they looked at us, and they went, that trailer ain't big enough. And I went, oh, crap. So I quickly, on the back of a napkin, did some calculations again. And I went, no, we're good. We're good. It was a gross 6,000 pounds for the trailer. So we were well under. And proof is in the pudding. The trailer tracked just fine, and the truck pulled it, no issues. And it was good. And we managed to spend, 14 hours in the truck together, Karl, and we didn't kill each other. That's a feat in itself.
Well, you know what? Sometimes if you put nitro and glycerin together, sometimes you get noises. But we subdued ourselves and stifled ourselves, and we solved a lot of world's problems sitting within 3 feet of each other
That's
for
right. And,
14 hours.
with no beer, no alcohol involved either.
How,
Shockingly. During the
how can that
driving, though.
happen? How can that happen, Scott? I don't know. But now I wanted to tell our folks how the heck does a Bristol Hercules engine from a British airplane get to a New England Air Museum? And what it was is this is a Bristol Hercules engine from a Bristol freighter cargo airplane. And the New England Air Museum had an engine that the Winnipeg Museum wanted. And so they traded engines. And then the Americans are sitting there looking at this sleeve valve engine that comes out of a British airplane, and they weren't asking the question, can we put it on a B-17 or a B-29? They just kind of let it sit in the corner. And but remember all the stuff they had in the trees out behind the storage shed? That was an eye opener for us. There was jet engines, there was a Crusader fighter jet, there was uh, Edo floats that had to be like 25, 30 feet long
Isn't
out in
it
the
cool?
trees, you
The,
know.
the, I think the best museum is the hidden stuff in the back, right?
Yeah,
That's always the uncurated stuff is sometimes the neatest.
sure. So anyways, we got down there okay. We had to stay overnight. And then next bright and early next morning, we showed up and they loaded the engine on the trailer. We got her all strapped down, and believe me, you don't want that little puppy shifting around when you're doing 70 miles an hour. And that's 120 kilometers per hour for all you folks in Canada. And but we got going and brought the engine up. And when we were on the freeway, Scott, do you remember that guy? He was in the fast lane. We're towing this engine at about 65, 70. He's in the fast lane. He pulls up beside us, and then he's motionless right beside us in the fast lane. And he's given us a thumbs up, like he's looked at the engine and he knows, holy smokers. And
Yeah,
then
I looked
and-
over and he's like doing this, and then he
yeah,
backed up
yeah,
to take a better look, and then he comes forward again,
yeah.
and he was pretty impressive. And then the that other family at the gas station, there was a little girl, and she thought this was a jet engine, but she was all over it. This little girl was so taken by it. She really appreciated the look of this thing. It is quite impressive.
Yeah, and the more I looked at it now, let me describe it for the folks. It's a firewall forward engine, cowlings, and everything. All you could actually bolt it to a wing if the wing was ready to accept it. It's a complete engine, and the only thing that was missing was 3 spark plugs in 2 cylinders, which is of concern to us in case there's rust inside, and only 1 magneto was missing. Everything else was there. So it really was a great package to receive. And then we got started, and we did our 7 hours back to Canada. And I somebody asked me, they said, Karl, what did customs say when you brought it up to Canada Customs? And I had all the paperwork done, and it was all in the Canada Customs computer. But he said, what did Canada Customs say? And of course, I like to stretch the truth a little bit. And I said, the first thing I said was, Canada Customs said, is this a non-polluting engine? And will it cause any trouble with the air quality of the True North, strong and free? And of course, you and I answered, no, it's a beautiful engine that is super efficient, and it does not even burn any oil. So,
Not a bit, not a bit.
yeah,
It's because it's not running. So
yeah.
how can it burn oil?
So we got the engine across the border and hauled our rear ends towards Ottawa and out to the rebuild shop at Arnprior. And then, of course, the good news is we got to Arnprior okay. The bad news is now we got to unload this 1 ton of fun uh, to get it off and into the hangar at Arnprior. And so, thank goodness you had those giant A-frames with the blocks and tackle. And then we just lifted up straight up, and then pulled the trailer out from underneath. Was there anything that you noticed when you were hauling it? How was it loaded? You were driving most of the way, so how did it feel?
I didn't even feel it. It was no troubles at all. The trailer was fine. It tracked fine. Yeah, getting the engine off was a bit difficult because of the gantries were very snug, and the wheels of the trailer were rubbing up against the gantries as we drove away. But after some convincing, we got them to release themselves. So do you want me to? I can show the engine and the gantry now if you want.
Sure. I know the engine is almost in the exact position of where it would attach to the wing that's behind you. So show the folks our beautiful new number 8 Bristol Hercules engine. We need eight engines, folks, if we're going to make 4 runners.
So there's the gantries that we used, and there she is in all her glory.
Yeah, number 8, so little precious.
So that's basically in line with where it would be or should be on the wing, which is that nacelle.
Great. Yeah, we can see it quite well. And as I said, there's 14 cylinders on that engine. And somebody had taken a spark plug or 2 out of the cylinders. If you take spark plugs out, you can sometimes get rust inside the cylinders. And on a sleeve valve engine, those sleeves and cylinders, they have to be clean and non-rusty inside. So we're taking a bit of a gamble here, but what the heck? We're putting together a Halifax. So let's gather what we can so we can do this rebuild.
And Karl, you said it was from a Bristol freighter, is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's a Bristol Hercules 734, and it came out of the cargo airplane, the Bristol freighter, which had 2 of these engines on the wing. So, but the core block and all of the parts inside are all exactly the same as wartime. So this is a big treasure that we will use to go. And remember, Scott, we've got 3 beautiful 0-time engines already. So you could see how this engine could be the core of putting together a 4th engine for our Halifax.
Exactly.
That's a good shot right there. Yeah. Cool.
There we are.
So, folks, I guess this is kind of a short and sweet program, but, we're not doing a hard sell today, but remember, we still have to go to Sweden. We have to do the diving, the tugboat, the diesel fuel, the food, and oh my goodness, the beer for these divers. It all starts to add up. So we sure hope that you will consider supporting us. Sending in your donations, you'll get your tax receipt, you'll get your perks. And this is all the journey that we have to do to get a Halifax together. And thank goodness for Scott Knox and Knox Tech and all they're doing. And one final thing is yesterday, number 2 engine of those 3 brand new engines, we got number 2 running, Scott. We did a test run yesterday of number 2 engine that had been sleeping for
Excellent.
63 years.
60
And
years, wow.
we got the fuel pump problem worked out. We had some corrosion in a magneto, but we fixed that. And now we're down to number 6 cylinder is woofing a little bit. But we'd like to, we're hoping to have this video, and we'll include it. I hope you folks can see it here on this program, if not on the next program. But I guess that's it for now. But Scott, thanks very much for all your efforts, and I'm pleased that you and I got along politically and theoretically on our 14 hours together in the truck. And it's a pleasure to work with you. And let's, with all of our fans out there, let's keep rolling and get a second Halifax ready for Canada.
Right
Is
on.
there anything you wanted to add at the end here?
No, we're good. No, thank you again for your company. It was much appreciated, and looking forward to the next road trip.
Good. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate all your help. And folks, we're still rolling, so keep supporting us. Bye for now.
Everybody.